Poor sleep alone won't kill you, but what you do in the first 30 seconds after waking just might. There's one simple habit most people over 60 perform every single morning without thinking. Not smoking, not diet, something you do before your feet even touch the floor. And new research suggests it can raise your risk of a heart attack by up to 40%. The most dangerous part? Your doctor has probably never warned you about it. If you are over 60, chances are you've done this every single morning for years without ever thinking twice about it. It feels completely harmless. In fact, it's so normal, most people would never even question it. And here's what makes it more concerning. Most doctors don't warn about it during routine checkups because it doesn't show up on a test and no one thinks to ask about it. I'm Dr. Deborah William, and for over 20 years, I've worked with patients who were doing everything right, their diet, their medication, their exercise, and still ended up with a cardiac event that seemed to come out of nowhere. But it wasn't random. There was a pattern. In a moment, I'll show you exactly what this habit is and the simple change that can help protect your heart starting tomorrow morning. Before we go any further, I want to ask you something. How old are you and where are you watching from right now? Just drop your age and your location in the comments. I read through every single one and it really helps me understand who I'm speaking to and who this message is reaching. To understand why this is dangerous, you need to see what's happening inside your body the moment you wake up, because without this, the risk doesn't make sense. While you're asleep, your body is in its lowest demand state. Your heart rate slows down, your blood pressure drops, and your entire cardiovascular system finally gets a period of real rest. It's the only time in a 24-hour day when your heart isn't constantly adjusting, pumping harder, or responding to stress. But here's what most people don't realize. Your body doesn't just wake up instantly. It starts preparing long before you even open your eyes. About 30 to 60 minutes before you wake, your brain begins releasing stress hormones, mainly cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones are not bad. They're designed to wake you up, to get you moving, to prepare your body for the day. But they also have a powerful effect on your heart. They cause your heart rate to rise, your blood pressure to increase, and your blood vessels to tighten. In other words, your cardiovascular system shifts from a resting state to a high alert state in a very short period of time. And here's the critical part. This all happens before you're even fully awake. By the time you reach for your phone or turn off your alarm, your heart is already working harder than it was just minutes before. In a younger, healthy body, this transition is smooth and controlled. The blood vessels are flexible, the response is fast, and everything adjusts without a problem. But as we get older, that system becomes less flexible. The blood vessels stiffen, the response slows down, and the heart has to work harder to handle that sudden shift. So right at the moment you wake up, your heart is already under more stress than at almost any other time of the day. Now, this is where the risk starts to increase, especially after 60. As we age, the cardiovascular system doesn't respond the way it used to. The arteries, which were once flexible and elastic, begin to stiffen over time. And that matters more than most people realize. Because when your blood pressure rises in the morning, like we just talked about, those stiffer arteries can't absorb that pressure as smoothly. At the same time, the body's response becomes slower. It takes longer to adjust, longer to stabilize, and that creates a window of vulnerability right after you wake up. But there's another piece most people don't even know is there: plaque. Now, over the years, small fatty deposits can build up silently inside your blood vessels. You don't feel it. There are no obvious symptoms. Many people have it and don't even know. Now, combine that with the sudden morning pressure surge. That force pushing against a weakened or plaque-filled artery can sometimes be enough to crack it. And when that happens, your body reacts instantly. It tries to repair the damage by forming a clot. That's where the real danger begins. Pressure spike leads to plaque rupture, which triggers a clot, and that clot can block blood flow to the heart. That's a heart attack. And this isn't just theory. Studies consistently show that heart attacks are far more likely to happen in the early morning hours, especially between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., not in the middle of the day, not at night, but right after waking up. This is not random. It's your body's natural morning response. A surge in pressure, combined with stiffer arteries and hidden plaque, all coming together at the exact same time. Let me give you a real example. I have a patient called James. James was 67 years old. He wasn't careless with his health. In fact, he was the kind of person most doctors would describe as doing everything right. He ate reasonably well, he went for walks almost every day, and he took his blood pressure medication exactly as prescribed. His checkups were consistent, his numbers were stable. Nothing about his condition raised any immediate red flags. By all appearances, James was managing his health better than most people his age. But one morning, something changed. He woke up like he always did, reached over to turn off his alarm, and stood up immediately. Within seconds, he felt dizzy. He tried to take a few steps, and then he collapsed. No warning, no pain leading up to it. Just one normal morning that suddenly wasn't. When his case was reviewed later, everything about his lifestyle still looked fine. His diet, his medication, his routine, all of it checked out. That's what made it so unsettling, because nothing about his health profile explained what happened, at least on the surface. But when you look closer, there was one small detail that kept showing up, one simple habit repeated every single morning that no one had ever warned him about. Before I show you exactly what that habit is, I'm curious about you. How old are you, and where are you watching from right now? Just type your age and your country in the comments. I read through them, and it also helps me understand who this is reaching. Now, let's go back to James, because what happened next comes down to one mistake most people make in the first few seconds after waking. So what exactly is the mistake? It's simple. Standing up immediately after waking. That's it. No complicated habit, no extreme behavior, just going from lying down to standing in a matter of seconds. For most people, it happens in under 3 seconds. The alarm goes off, you sit up, swing your legs off the bed, and you're on your feet almost instantly. It feels completely normal. You've probably done it thousands of times without ever thinking twice about it. It's part of your routine, automatic, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because for your heart in that exact moment, it's one of the worst things you can do. Right when your body is already under pressure from that morning hormone surge, you're adding a sudden physical demand that your cardiovascular system may not be ready to handle. And that combination is where the real risk begins. Now, there's a second factor that makes this moment even more dangerous, and almost no one thinks about it. Dehydration. After 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your body has gone all night without water. You haven't had a single sip, and you've been losing small amounts of fluid just by breathing. That means by the time you wake up, your body is already slightly dehydrated. And when that happens, your blood becomes more concentrated, thicker, more viscous. Now, think about what that means for your heart. Your heart is essentially a pump, and your blood vessels are like pipes. When the fluid is thin and flowing easily, the pump doesn't have to work as hard. But when the blood becomes thicker, the heart has to push harder with every beat just to keep things moving. And it's not just about effort. Thicker blood also increases the risk of clotting. It flows more slowly, it sticks more easily, and that raises the chances of a blockage forming at the worst possible time. Now, bring everything together. You have the morning hormone surge, raising your heart rate and blood pressure. You have the sudden pressure shift from standing too quickly, and now you have thicker blood, moving more slowly and clotting more easily. This creates the perfect storm for a heart event. 3 separate factors, all hitting your cardiovascular system at the exact same moment. And the reason this is so important is because each one alone might not be enough to cause a problem, but together they significantly increase the strain on your heart during the most vulnerable window of your day. Now, the good news is this is completely preventable. You don't need medication changes, you don't need a complicated routine, and you don't need to overhaul your lifestyle. You just need to change what you do in the first 90 seconds after waking. I call this the 90-second heart protection routine. It's simple, it's free, and it works with your body instead of against it. Step 1. Don't move immediately. When your alarm goes off, don't rush. Stay exactly where you are, lying down. Before you sit up, before you reach for anything, take 3 slow, deep breaths, in through your nose and out through your mouth, slowly. This takes about 10 to 15 seconds, but it does something very important. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for calming your body. It helps counter that early morning surge of cortisol and adrenaline, and it reduces the sudden spike in blood pressure before it builds too quickly. It's a small pause, but it gives your heart a chance to stabilize. Step 2. Drink water first. Next, before your feet touch the floor, drink water. The easiest way to do this is simple. Keep a glass of water right beside your bed, so it's there waiting for you every morning. Drink it before coffee, before checking your phone, before anything else. This helps rehydrate your body after hours without fluid. It begins to thin your blood, making it easier to flow, and it reduces the likelihood of clot formation during that vulnerable window. You're essentially giving your heart better conditions to work with before the day begins. Step 3. Sit before standing. Now, instead of jumping straight to your feet, take it 1 step slower. Roll gently to your side and push yourself up into a seated position. Sit on the edge of the bed with your feet down. Stay there for about 20 to 30 seconds. Let your body adjust. Let your blood pressure stabilize. Then, stand up slowly, not abruptly, just a controlled, steady movement. This allows your circulation to adapt gradually. It reduces that sudden drop and spike in blood pressure, and it prevents that shock your heart experiences when you stand too quickly. And when you put these 3 steps together, it takes less than 90 seconds, but it can make a measurable difference. 90 seconds that help your heart transition safely, instead of forcing it to react under pressure. And the best part? You can start this tomorrow morning. Now, I'm curious about your routine. When you wake up in the morning, what do you usually do first? Do you drink water right away, or do you go straight to coffee, tea, or something else? Be honest, most people don't even think about it because it's just habit. But small habits like this can make a bigger difference than we realize, especially over time. So type yes if you drink water first, or no if you don't. I read through the comments, and it really helps me understand what people are actually doing day to day. And if you've never tried it before, this might be a simple place to start tomorrow morning. Let's bring this all together, because this is the part that really matters. The morning is one of the most vulnerable times for your heart, especially after 60. Before you're even fully awake, your stress hormones begin to rise. Your heart rate increases, your blood pressure goes up, and your blood vessels tighten. At the same time, your blood is slightly thicker from hours without water. And then, when you stand up too quickly, you add a sudden physical strain on top of all of that. That combination, hormone surge, thicker blood, and sudden movement, puts your heart under pressure at the exact wrong moment. But the solution is simple. 3 breaths, 1 glass of water, and sitting before you stand. That's it. No complicated routine, no extra cost, just a small adjustment in how you start your morning. And it's a small change, but it might be the difference your heart needs. Because the truth is, most people don't get a warning before something happens. It's just one normal morning until it isn't. And if this information reaches you early enough, you have the chance to do something about it. If you found this helpful, share it with someone over 60, a parent, a friend, someone you care about. You never know who might need to hear this before tomorrow morning. And if you want more simple, practical habits like this, make sure you subscribe, because sometimes the smallest changes are the ones that matter most. This video is for general educational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice. Always speak with your doctor before making changes to your health routine, especially if you have an existing condition or take medication.